We're going to do a bowl and 2 coasters in a fall themed color palette, and today I am using Counterculture DIY Artist Resin medium viscosity. I mixed it for 6 minutes and then I cleared my timer and started it back at 0, and I'm at 15 minutes right now. I mixed 18 ounces. So I'm going to do 2 in each of these, so that's 4, and then I'll put 14 in here. The white mixture, I'm going to put about 10 or so drops of Cast & Craft white pigment paste. I'm going to use by Etsy Sunshine Color Shop white crystal mica. I mixed up maybe an ounce of resin or so. I put El Rizzi, and it is B0212, and I think that is champagne gold, and made a paste basically out of that. And I also put in probably about 1/4 to 1/3 of a spoonful of pumpkin pie by this little piggy. And I'm going to put this around the edge of my, this is like about a 13-inch mold. We're going to wait about 4 hours, 5 hours, and then try to make it into a bowl. I just randomly dropped the alcohol inks in, and the colors I used from Lett's Resin were citrus green, medium yellow, dandelion, apricot, orange, red, and brown. And those were in the 48-piece alcohol ink set by Lett's Resin. I will be back in about 4 to 5 hours. Okay, it's actually been overnight, and typically this sets up hard in 24 hours. It's still flexible, and I think the reason it is because I didn't make it more than halfway full, which was my intention, but it was still sticky when I went to bed, so I had to wait till today. So I'm still going to make a bowl out of it, even though I didn't think it might be possible. And it might be pushing it a bit. You have to be gentle with it. I'm going to go ahead and unmold the coasters. So we're going to go ahead and look at these. Very pretty. I want to do gold edges with my paint pen. Some of the glitter managed to float away, but that's okay. I don't believe in perfectionism. Let's see how this one looks. Once you take something out of the mold, you can't put it back in and put another layer. It will creep under and ruin your piece. I've tried it before, many moons ago. Okay, here's the other side, and you can see how matte finish, and that's because my mold has been used so many times that there's no shine to it anymore. But with bowls, I always put a coat of fast set once it's formed to give it that shiny feel again. And here's this side and here's this side, but I actually want this side face up. Now, because it has sat for so long, I don't want to crack it. So I am going to heat it with my heat gun and just help it relax a bit. And if I can't make it relax, then I'm going to have to just leave it as a flat tray. And this is definitely going to have to be weighted down with something to keep it from coming back out of the bowl, because it is so, it's cured enough to where it wants to push back a bit. So generally what I do, I put a mold so that it doesn't leave any real lines per se from whatever you put for weight. And I'm going to put a big old gallon bottle on top of it. And let it sit for 24 hours and fully harden. Again, these I'm going to do a gold edge, but I do want to do a flood coat on these as well. And I'll do that when I do the flood coat inside of the bowl. It gives it a glassier look and just makes your piece look more glass-like. I'll be back tomorrow to put the flood coat on and finish the project. Okay, it's been overnight, so it should be nice and hard. I'm going to put my coasters on this little mini 6-inch Lazy Susan, and I put a piece of tape face up so it's sticky, and then I just tape it down and cut it off around the edges, and then you can put your coaster on it and spin it, and you don't have to worry about holding it with your fingers. And I'm going to be using Counterculture DIY Fast Set, which has a 10-minute working time and it cures in 2 hours, and it's a thicker, kind of a more syrupy kind of consistency. It goes on and you don't have to worry about it going over the edges if you put the right amount, which is always, for any coaster, a ½ ounce or less for a coaster. And we're going to coat the inside of the bowl to give it that glassy look, which just helps make it look more realistic as a bowl, a glass bowl. We don't have any hard edges because we use the silicone as a barrier. And then if you use a slick plastic bowl and then something that is a little bit bendable, you can use like a metal bowl that's shiny, but you don't have any flex with that, so you really have to struggle sometimes to get it out if it has a little bit of a stick. So, you know, here again is the bottom side, which is really pretty, but I want this to be the look because it matches the coasters and it has more of a wispy effect. Typically for a bowl and 2 coasters, I will do 4 ounces of the Fast Set. I'll mix it for 5 or 6 minutes and then I'll come back and show you how I coat it for you, okay? I've got the resin mixed. I've got 10 minutes to work with it. I did want to show you if you want to mix smaller amounts of resin, like this is a 5-ounce bathroom cup, if you want to call it that, and this is 3 ounce. I just go inside and I mark it with a permanent marker at what I think is about 1.5 ounces or so, and that's my fill point for that part B and then the part A. So you can use that as your measurement for a smaller amount. You just mark your spot, because you'll know that, you know, about half of the cup is going to be 1.5 ounces, and I needed just really 3 ounces. So that's how I measure. So I'm going to do the coasters first. The way I know about how much to use is I just pour, I guess what would be the size of like a $50, you know, about that big. That's probably not even a half an ounce. I use my low tip heat gun. I have a silicone brush, and basically I just make a sweeping motion and I come to the edge of the coaster, but not over the edge of the coaster. And you just turn your piece, but you're not holding your coaster, so you don't have to worry about getting your fingers into anything. So I'm not taking it over the edge, and it's very syrupy. And that's all the resin that you need to coat a coaster. And this is like about a 5-inch coaster, so it would take even a little less if you had 4-inch coasters. And I keep it in a light source where I can see the reflection. I can see exactly where I've gone to the edges with my silicone brush. Like if I missed an area, I can go back and it does not spill over, and it's because it's a thicker consistency. And then, you know, I can do that. And then all I have to do is just basically lift it off of this sticky tape and then put it in a spot where I know there's no resin, because I just dropped my little silicone tool. I'm going to wipe that up really fast, because you don't want to lay your coaster down in any resin. And the other side is really pretty too, so you don't want to get it messed up on the other side, because then it can be reversible. But this side is dull. That's why we're doing the top side. Again, it's very syrupy because it only has a 10-minute working time, 15 tops. But you really want to aim for 10 minutes because you get close to 15 and it'll start getting stringy on you. And this cures in 2 hours, which is the fabulous feature of Fast Set by Counterculture. There's other fast cure resins out there, but this one to me is the best and the quickest. Counterculture has a turbo, but it's made for tumbler makers, and I would not recommend using it on any coasters or bowls or anything like that. So that, I'm just going to leave that one on the little turntable. There are more bubbles with Fast Set, so you have to kind of keep going back and forth with bubble stuff. So I'm just going to lay this on my mat and let it cure. So now I'm just going to pour my resin. And I really don't need all the resin that's in this cup, so I'm not going to put all of it in there. So the one thing I can say about doing this is the way I do it, is I am right-handed. So my right hand is my dominant hand, and I can work with it well. So I pick up the bowl and I hold it with my left hand. But I'm going to use my right hand, and I'm just going to, and it's very thick and syrupy. But you have several minutes to do this. I'm going to put this down and heat it really quick. But if you heat it, it just helps it spread easier. So just get it really good on the bottom, and then I'm literally just coming up all the edges, but not taking it over the edge. And I can tell the bowl is relaxing a little bit. And you'll understand why I say it only has a 10 to 15 minute working time, because you can feel the resistance that it kind of gives you. It's just not a real smooth gliding thing. It's very thick and syrupy, like I would say thick honey. That's what I would compare it to. And I can see it going flatter, so I am definitely going to put it back in the bowl form. Then I'm just making sure I have it all the way up to the edges, but I'm not going over the edges. And I'm going to get my heat gun on low. And if it goes flatter, that's fine. It'll still look very pretty with the little bit of waves that it has. I'm going to put a link at the top there to go to another way to do bowls where you lay it over a form instead of pushing it into one, just so you can see the difference in the shapes, because this is going to be more of a flat, wavy kind of bowl, and the other way gives you a little bit more of a deeper, like 4 to 5 inches deeper. So I'll put a link with the video to show you how that works. And I do have a deli cover. You just make sure you put it in a place where it's not touching the bowl anywhere. It's close, but it's good. And I'll be back in a few hours. Okay, it's been a couple of hours, and here are the coasters, and you see how shiny they are with that top coat. It just gives them a glassier look. Pretty blooms. And I'll take pictures outside as well. And here is the bowl. Just so you can see it with a white background. That kind of shows how it looks, and you see how glassy it looks now compared to when it came out of the mold, because this was the face down side. So you put that glassy coating of fast set and it makes it look like glass. And then here's the underside, and you get more of the glitter on the bottom side, but I really wanted this side just because it's a little more muted and it has a little bit more of the bloom effect, and it matches the coasters more correctly. So I hope you learned something in this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and that means you liked it. And I would love for comments. I don't hear many comments that often, but I would love to hear your comment about it, or maybe some colors you'd like to see, or whatever. Just send me put a comment there so I can try to do something that you'd like to see in the future. Again, I'll post pictures at the end outside where it's in the sunlight. Thank you so much. I love you all. Bye bye. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Love you all.